Um, Interesting title, right? But it's so true. Quitting is not an option. When you first go into this field, I've had people say to me, you know, there's something that there are things that I don't like about the workplace, and they'd list some things that are happening. It could be that the coworkers were difficult, that the attorney was not pleasant, that they were expected to work more than they thought, that their free time was being infringed upon. And you know, if you grew up in a family like I did, where um, my dad worked 60 to 70 hours a week in a management position, and he really had no life. And my mom worked for her in-laws, and my mom worked in a factory when I was a really little, before she married my dad. And then they got married, and she worked for my grandparents. They had a grocery store, and that was my dad's parents. That gave her more flexibility with her schedule. However, it does not have to be where, you know, the situation that you're in personally, where you feel like you don't have a life, or you don't enjoy the area of law you're in, or the people that you're working with, you know, or for. All of those things, the people, your coworkers, your employer, the area of law, the location where you work, are all variables. And you can change that. There's no shame. Remember what I'm saying here. There's no shame in changing your job. It's quitting the career altogether, that if you find out it is not for you, I would work someplace else, or two or three different places, before you make that ultimate decision. And that's what this title means. Give yourself a chance to experience. If you're in a government agency, go to work for a private law firm, but research the area of law first, and the paralegal duties that you will perform in that area of law. Just Google that. Watch some of my other videos where I talk about that. I'm going to be offering a free paralegal playbook shortly, which I've offered before, and I'm updating it right now. And so I will let you all know when I do that, and then you can go get that, okay? So don't quit or give up before you change those variables. You know, you don't have to work evenings or weekends. You don't. Not every law firm wants to operate that way, and not every workplace operates that way. Most government agencies do not operate that way. They want you out of there by 5, more than not they do, because they are not going to pay overtime or anything like that. Corporations, you know, I haven't worked for one as a legal assistant or secretary or paralegal. I have worked in a major corporation as an administrative assistant before I went into legal. Um, there are certain things you should not put up with, and that means bad behavior by coworkers, by your attorney, um, working in an area of law that you really don't like, or you're traveling so far to get to work that it's costing you so much in gas and your time, that alone is diminishing your whole quality of life. That's not worth it either. So before you quit, those to me are always variables that can be shifted. Now, if you live in a teeny tiny town, and the largest city near you is 2 hours away, well, then that's a whole other thing. I've had students of mine in that situation or they would have to go move to closer to the capital city, maybe not in it, but closer than they were at that time, in order to maybe you will get higher pay for sure. When I was in Florida, the town I was in was relatively small compared to Orlando, but I was only, or Sanford, and I was only 30 minutes from Sanford, only 45 minutes, well, really less than that, from Maitland, which was growing like crazy. And Maitland is right outside of Orlando. And yes, I could have worked in Orlando where you would get higher pay, okay? So there are changes you can make. So don't give up and think, oh, I've chosen the wrong career. This is what they're all like. It's not true. It differs from place to place, and area of law to area of law. And how you interview, how well you interview, and the questions you ask, so that you can get I call it getting a bead, getting an idea of what that workplace is really like inside. You can't be 100%, because you won't meet a lot of the coworkers during an interview. You just won't. I've been in all kinds of situations, and it was my choice to stay in it or leave. If your mental health is not worth any of that, and don't give up just because some things are not what you thought. Okay, like working in immigration is far different than working in personal injury. Working in estate planning law is far different than working in real estate law, for instance. So, really, really investigate different areas of law if you're not happy where you are. If that's the thing that's bothering you, you don't have to stay. No, you don't have to stay for a year if somebody's being mean to you and it's just coloring your whole life in a negative way. So I wanted to pass that along today. I don't want to make this too long today, and tell you that you have choices, okay? Even as a newbie, and this is your first job, if you can hack it, you can stay in it for a year, great. But when it comes down to how you are treated, I don't think there are options. I think you have to look elsewhere so that it doesn't impact you personally, mentally, and you will end up taking it home. If you have loved ones at home, most of you have families, even taking it. And I got into a thing for a while where I was complaining all the time, and I thought, what am I doing? I can change this. So I wanted to pass that along to you. I changed it and went into a better place. And there were areas that I've worked in that I loved and I didn't. And that's okay. Change is okay, as long as you protect yourself and your mental health. Now, when I tell you God has a plan and a purpose for you, this is what I'm talking about, that trust Him. If you haven't been doing that, give it to the Lord and say, you put me where you want me and tell me when you don't want me there. I've been very impressed after interviewing for a job that I shouldn't go there. And it was for these reasons. I saw work backed up on a desk, a pile of files. And I know as an experienced paralegal, I wouldn't be able to get to that if my everyday life was busy, and it would have been. So that experience helps me know. But I also give it to the Lord, say, I don't want to work in a toxic environment or one that is not healthy for me. So start praying over all these applications you're putting out, your resume and cover letter. Pray over that and say, Lord, you put me where you want me. And He will do that. But you have to use your God-given intuition when you're in an interview to understand when you ask some very, very insightful questions, is this the place for me? And don't say yes to the job until you've had some time, I mean, just overnight to think about it. Don't let anybody pressure you into accepting. Say, can I let you know in the morning? Because I'd like to discuss it. Just run it by my significant other, could be your best friend. But take that time for yourself, okay? Because you don't have to leave a career just because of a bad experience or two. Don't let anybody do that to you or put you in that mental state. It's not worth it. All right, so quitting doesn't have to be an option when you face those things, and you're not a failure when those things happen. Most of the time, it's not your fault. It's how they structure the workplace, okay, and how they don't structure it. And a lot of them in this particular field, this legal field, don't have management experience. So understand that going in, that it can be really what I call loosey goosey, that they don't have an idea of how to manage staff, how to manage the workload, and all of that. So be aware and don't let that stop you from excelling in this career. Have a great one today. I hope this was helpful. Any questions, comments, post them below. And be sure to go to the website. I'm revamping my website a bit, so you'll see it's a little, um, flighty at the moment. So go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com. The class that's open right now is Cover Letter Secrets. It's an awesome class. The cover letter is everything when you're applying for jobs, everything. And this class will help you raise your cover letter and resume to the top of the pile. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you in tomorrow's video. Take care.